Here we have a bunch of stuff that I found at the thrift store yesterday, right here, from here on over. And then all of this is items I found at a little free library. So this little free library I don't go to very often, like hardly ever, but just because it's been mostly kids' books, which is fine, but it's not stuff that I'm looking for typically. But they will occasionally have some other types of books. So I just went there. It'd been months since I'd been to that one. And it turns out they had some cool stuff. They have a face. Wow, a cookbook here. I said a Facebook. That's weird. A cookbook called Meatless. Then they have this one called Envy, which I think is like a YA type of novel. Joyce Carol Oates. If you don't know her, look her up. Very famous author. This one, ladies and gentlemen, is stories, and this one is old school cartoons. So that's still sealed. So that's pretty cool. So picked up all those, and then I left some books as well because I do currently have some books that I am slowly distributing amongst different little free libraries as I come across them. There's a few little free libraries that I go to here and there, and sometimes I have books to leave, sometimes I don't. But right now I do have about a box worth of mostly fiction, and then some kids books as well that my daughter didn't want to read. So that's good. I recommend finding little free libraries in your area, not only to find books, but of course to leave some books that you don't need or want. And you never know. You might meet the person whose house it is, and get to know them and let them know that you are always looking for great books and that you have lots of books and to add to help them out. Anyway, just kind of getting to know people, building relationships. That's always helpful. And there can be some great books in there as well that people don't want. They don't realize that they're valuable, and you can find some good stuff. And it's just a great way to dispose of at least some, or get rid of some of the books that you are not needing. Yesterday I went to the thrift store that I usually go to weekly, and I hadn't been there in 2 weeks. So this was all I found. It was kind of slim pickings, unfortunately, but they had very few CDs, and which I didn't pick up any of. And then the DVDs, they didn't have that great of new stuff. So that was unfortunate. However, I did find a couple of really nice items. So cassette tapes, VHS tape, so an audiobook, video games, and a couple of DVDs. So it's still some nice pickups. It's just not the quantity, but it doesn't always have to be the quantity. The quality is of course more important, I feel, even if I only get 2 or 3 items, but the quality is really high. If there's high profit items or something I can put in my store, that's always good. And this is kind of that case. So first things first, I saw these Dolly Parton audio cassette tapes, and I thought those would be cool to put in my store. They're not really selling a lot of these on eBay, but nonetheless, I like to have variety, and I never had any Dolly Parton cassette tapes, and I know that she's uh, a big artist, and so I thought that some people might like that. And so I got those for, I think those were $1 each. I'll sell them for a couple bucks each in the store. This one, the Whistler, looks really cool. This is classic radio mystery. You might have come across these types where they have old school radio programs on DVDs. And this one looked pretty cool. It actually goes for around $15 on eBay, but I'm going to put it in my store for $6. I got that for a little over $1. I was even thinking about listening to some of those while I'm driving around. So then I got these 2 VHS tapes. Whenever I see Arnold Schwarzenegger movie on VHS tape, I usually pick it up. Not always, but this one, raw deal, I do not have, and I'm going to put in my store. So I thought somebody might appreciate it, because I do know that Schwarzenegger movies are super popular, even on VHS. I know I sell a good amount on DVD here in the store. This one is Morgan Freeman, and it's called Death of a Prophet. I haven't actually seen this movie, but turns out there's only one copy on eBay. And yeah, so it's pretty rare apparently. I'm gonna list it for, or sell it for $5 in my store, and it is sealed, which is obviously a big benefit versus it not being sealed. Yeah, so I'm just wondering if this was resealed. I'm not sure. It might, because I don't see any watermark or anything like that. It's possible it was resealed, but regardless, it's still current, or it's sealed right now, and that's a more rare tape that a collector might be looking for. Someone that's either likes that movie or likes Morgan Freeman movies. or just likes to collect sealed VHS tapes. Let's see. So now I got 2 video games. These I got not because there are tons of profit in them, but because I want to keep adding more video games to my store, have a good selection of different gaming consoles and different games that I've never had before. So I got PlayStation 2 game, Ratatouille, and these are both complete. They both have the manuals in there. I got them, so I'm not going to make much profit off of these, but again, it's not for that. It's more of just having options. So, like someone brought me, what do you call it? Video games last week for a trade, which I was ecstatic about, and then I found these 2. I seem to find a decent amount of video games at this particular thrift store, which I'm always surprised because most thrift stores that I go to either have absolutely no video games out on the shelves, or if they do, they're missing the disc, or it's a video game that there's a million copies of and it's not something that I would buy, or it's overpriced, or they put all their video games or almost all of them behind the shelf and price them pretty high. That's always an option, also an option as well. But this place puts most of their video games out, and I was glad to find these. So this one is Wii, called King of Clubs. Never seen this one before. Of course, I haven't played it, but I've never seen it. So that's cool to have those 2. This one I'm gonna sell for 4. This one I'm gonna sell for 6 in the store. And then I got Puff the Magic Dragon, which it turns out this one actually sells on eBay. Not for a lot of money. The cheapest one on eBay is about $8.50, $9. The disc, I cleaned it up, but it's still, you can't really see it here, but it's still got some marks. So I am gonna test it, make sure it works, and I'll put it in my store because I've never had a Puff the Magic Dragon DVD that I can remember in my store. I'll probably sell it for like $4 or so, but that's a cool one. This was the best find of the day. It is an old movie, Frank Capra's Arsenic and Old Lace with Cary Grant. If you come across this one, definitely pick it up. I was fortunate that I found it sealed. Even used though, it's worth some good money. Sealed, $20 or more on eBay, and it sells 100% sell-through rate. If you look at it on eBay, it's almost triple the amount that have sold in the last 90 days that are currently available, which means if you list it on eBay for the right price, you're pretty much going to sell it right away, especially if you have a new copy. Now, if you're trying to sell it for $60 new, it's not going to sell, but if you're going to sell it for what it's really going for, which is maybe $20, $25, then you can probably sell it really quickly. But I got it for $1 and like $1.50 or so. I'm going to sell it in the store though, because I like to have variety. I know this will sell. I have a lot of people that like older movies. And this one is in black and white. Apparently it's a classic farce. It's from 1941. And mirthful murder, slapstick, slap happy style. So it is a popular one. So I would be on the lookout for this one. If you can get it for, which usually you can, even $1 or $2, this would be a nice eBay flip. And I would sell it on eBay if I didn't have my store, but I am always trying to find unique titles because I do have a lot of people that buy DVDs in general, but also the older stuff. I've got people that are, older than me, that are baby boomer age, and they grew up watching this kind of stuff, and they're always looking for it. So anytime I put it out, it usually sells well. If I were only an Amazon or eBay seller, I would have only purchased this one and possibly this one, because they're both sealed. Number one, they're rare. Well, I'm sorry. This one is rare. Death of a Prophet. It's not much profit. Okay, that was awkward. That was funny. But there's not much profit in it, but it's rare, and it would probably be something that you could make maybe $10 or so off. This one, considering it was only like $1.50 on eBay, you could make some nice profit on that one. But as a reseller only online, you'd probably pass on all these. But again, because I have my store, I'm always looking for items that I can put in the store so I can grow my customer base and keep them coming back. So I always need to have good stuff. And it's funny, you can go local. I can go to a store here locally, a thrift store, where it's priced Not always super low, because one of these was 6, no, 7. One of them was 6 and one of them was 7. There was just percentage like 25% off of one of them and 50% off of the other. I believe it was this one that was $3 after everything was taken off, and this one was like $5. So it's not like it's dirt cheap, but right around what I would charge in my store. And yeah, I just have to go local. I don't have to look elsewhere, and I can find this kind of stuff. But if you're only selling online, you're probably not going to pick up some of the stuff that I'm picking up. But definitely keep an eye out for this one for sure. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next video. Take care.